My name is Robin Kowalski. I'm a professor of psychology. So my research focuses, broadly speaking, on aversive interpersonal behaviors with a specific focus on cyberbullying, complaining, and school and mass shootings. So if we're thinking about like negative interpersonal behaviors, probably some of the most common are teasing and bullying, but it's not as unidimensional as that sounds because bullying can take a lot of different forms. It can be relational, it can be verbal, it can be physical, and verbal is the most common type. But over the last 15 years, we've also seen electronic or cyberbullying emerge. If you're talking about kids who are bullied, it starts very early. The highest prevalence rates of bullying victimization are actually in elementary school, and then they decline through middle and high school. Not to say that it doesn't happen in middle and high school, but the prevalence rates go down. And I'll tell you why that's the case. If you're talking about perpetration of bullying, it typically sort of peaks in early to mid adolescence. And the reason for that discrepancy between victimization and perpetration rates is because kids who bully typically bully kids who are at the same age or younger than them. So that's why victimization rates prevalence rates are typically at younger ages. My top advice is to promote psychological mattering. So students need to be made to feel like they matter, that they are important or significant to other people. You know, the research is so clear that it usually only takes just one other person, if they feel like they matter to one other student or to a teacher or to a staff member or to an administrator. But what that means is that, if we want to make kids feel like they matter, then we need to be paying attention. And the we is students need to be paying attention, parents need to be paying attention, educators need to be paying attention, so that if kids are, look like they're being ostracized or look like they are being marginalized, obviously those kids don't feel like they matter. Typically, kids who perpetrate bullying have certain characteristics. They often have dominant personalities, so they feel it's okay to use force to get what they want, like, physical bullying or, verbal force. They often feel like the rules don't apply to them. They often they're easily frustrated. They tend to be impulsive. So they just have certain characteristics that lead them to enact the behavior. Beyond that, though, oftentimes kids who engage in cyberbullying or electronic bullying are engaging in the behavior to retaliate for having been a victim of traditional bullying. So maybe I'm technologically savvy, but I've been traditionally bullied, but I can't. Maybe I'm small or whatever, and I can't retaliate in a traditional bullying sense, but I can get somebody back, and hide under this umbrella of anonymity and retaliate in a cyberbullying sense. The other thing that may lead some kids to perpetrate bullying is maybe there's a lot of aggression, bullying going on in the home. Honestly, you can be bullied for any of those reasons, but what the literature shows, and these are national studies that have shown that the most common grounds for bullying are looks, appearance, and speech. We hope schools are really being proactive in terms of bullying prevention. The first thing that parents can do is they can look out for the warning signs. So if their child is coming home and their clothes have been torn, or their kids are starting to withdraw from social activities that they really enjoyed at one time, or their kids are wanting to withdraw from they're not enjoying being on their phones anymore if it's electronic bullying. So that's the first thing they can do. The second thing that parents can do is they can really try to facilitate the promotion of a positive school climate. So they can get involved with the school and facilitate the development of that positive school climate. The third thing that parents can do is that they can really have conversations with their children. What's going on at school? Show me what you're doing on your computer. Kids don't want their parent looking over their shoulder with all their online activities, but we did focus groups several years ago, and what the kids said to us, and this is their phrase, not mine, but they said they wanted supervision, not snoopervision. So they didn't want their parents installing keystroke software on their computer, but they were okay with their parents knowing what their local history was. So those conversations are super important because, many of the parents, didn't necessarily grow up with technology in the same sense that the kids did, even if they had some exposure to it.